Good Friday evening, Jacket Country, here from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. It's time to kick off the 2025 Southeast Bulloch football season. Here with the preseason radio show tonight from Wild Wing Cafe on 106.5 The Borough. Hello, everybody. Once again, Colin, Lacy to talk tonight about Southeast Bulloch football and get things going. We start with head coach Zito. A busy schedule in the preseason. You guys are out in the community all throughout the preseason, but appreciate you making the time.
We appreciate you, appreciate Wild Wings, and certainly appreciate our players, parents, and community. Let's hear the Yellow Jackets here in the house make a little noise.
Going over the next hour and a half or so, we will talk Southeast Bulloch football, look back to an impressive 2024 season where the Jackets finish up the season 10-3, an appearance in the quarterfinals of the GHSA state playoffs in that third round, and look ahead to 2025. Got to look back to last year and what you were able to do on the football field. We mentioned 10-3, go to the quarterfinals. When you step back and look of what last season was, what's your biggest takeaway?
Man, just the belief that our team had in each other. Our seniors were unbelievable leaders. They held the team together like glue. And just watching our guys get more and more confident as we march to the end of the season and into the playoffs. And really just the one memory that sticks out in my mind was when we finished the game at Harlem and we realized we were going to win and go to the quarterfinals. Watching our players and our community, we had a huge following up there in Augusta. Everyone just going crazy, having such a good time together. That was just a moment in time that I really remember, and it was special.
Let's talk about that playoff run. You go in a long trip to almost to Tennessee, up to Heritage, up to Catoosa and Ringgold. Then you make the trip over to Harlem, who was number 2 in the power rankings coming into that game. You whitewash 21-0, then go up to Stevenson. What did you learn about this team in those 3 games of the state playoffs that you take into 25?
Well, I know this. I know, when you look at our team and our makeup, number one, we're tough. We're committed. Our kids believe in each other like family, like brothers. And I thought we really played together, unified each step of the way. It seemed like we got stronger and stronger as a bond and a belief in what we're doing and a belief in each other.
A couple of guys really burst onto the scene. We've talked about Colby Smith, it seems like, for about 6 years now. But he's somebody had over 1,000 yards rushing, the first guy to do that in SEB history since 2017, and Chase Walker. Got a few fans here tonight, I hear, too. Whenever you look at the season he had, how impressive was that to be able to watch it?
Well, Colby Smith has been starting for us for 4 years. That's the one thing is he come in as a freshman. We had to throw him in the fire at linebacker in a really tough schedule. And I remember apologizing to him and Chase Douglas and Tyrone McGee for having to do that to them. But you can really see the growth of all those 3 guys. And certainly Colby. I mean, Colby's a guy that I'm kind of kicking myself for not putting him at running back as a sophomore. And the reality was we were short at quarterbacks, and he ended up being a backup quarterback. And I knew it when I watched him in middle school. He was a quarterback, but really ran the football a lot. That he was faster than people think. He's certainly stronger and tougher than people think. When you just look at him on the hoof, everybody says, "Well, he's a white running back. He's the fastest kid on our team. He's the strongest kid on our team." And what makes him even more special is how tough he runs and how competitive he is with each carry and each play. He catches the ball really well in the backfield. He does well in our kick return game. He's certainly one of the underrated guys, I think, in all of Georgia. And it's not fair to him, but I think he's a spectacular player. And the best thing about him is Colby's very humble. He doesn't say a whole lot. He's a team guy. He'll do whatever the team needs, and at the same time still plays on defense. And he has no trouble coming downhill and striking when he gets a chance.
We'll look back a little bit at 2024, but going into 25, before we get into the X's and O's, we've talked about a lot how you guys are so involved in the community in Brooklet and surrounding areas, Neville, Statesboro, all of it. What are some of the things this offseason that you guys have done getting out of the community yet again?
Well, a couple of things we've been always kind of been annual events for us. Certainly, when the school year starts, we're always involved with visiting the elementary schools, opening car doors, welcoming kids to school. We'll start that probably, if not this week, in the next couple of weeks as the school year starts. We always participate in Read Across America. bring our guys over there, and they spend time reading to kids and mentoring them and just encouraging them to be good students. This summer, of course, we always spend at least one day at Feed the Borough and help that unbelievable organization that supplies food to 1,000 people, I think, in a day. Of course, we had our youth middle school camp that we just put on and involving the young kids and even our middle school feeder program, try to get the guys excited about being Yellow Jackets. And then there's other things we do that involve our community, our family of parents. Our jacket night. We have dads and decals coming up. This tomorrow after picture day, we have our mom, dad, and family clinic. My belief is the more people you can involve in your organization and your team, they have ownership in it too, and they become invested. And in a community like ours at Southeast Bulloch, one of the strongest resources we have is our people in our community. And it's I tell people all the time, we're in a fairly large town of Statesboro in terms of South Georgia. We have 3 high schools, but Brooklet, Stilson, Neville's, the Southeast Bulloch community really could be an old school one horse town that everything shuts down on a Friday night. No one have a problem with that. It's those kind of people who they are. It's not only the parents of the players we have now, it's parents that had players, it's teachers and coaches like Mike Sparks, uh, 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 Coach Shaver, John Page. That these are part of the history of Southeast Bulloch, and they show up every Friday night at Fred Shaver Field. So all those things together, I think, make it very special.
We've talked a lot about Coach Shaver on this show over the years. We've talked a lot about him and different things that you and I have done together over the years. What the impact that he still has on this program so many years later, still at every game, sitting in the end zone. What's it like to still have him so involved in this program?
It's one of the most unique things we have. I don't think there's another place that I know of that's got a former head coach that won 2 state titles, that went on to become an assistant superintendent, and still comes to every Friday night game. That's home. Road games, he calls me on Thursday. He'll call me Friday night on the bus ride home. If he doesn't get me, he'll call me back on Saturday. He truly loves Southeast Bulloch, and he truly loves all kids. He loves sports, and he certainly loves football. And it's really been special for me because he really cares. He'll call me and ask me how things are going. We had jacket night he couldn't make. He called me the next day to see how it went. Um, and then this is funny. This is kind of funny story. Not he he was ringing my phone off the hook for about a day and a half this week. We were real busy between practice and pre-planning, and I just couldn't get him. And I think he called me 4 times. I think he was getting a little irritated that I wasn't calling back yet because I could hear it in his voice. And he was wanting to know how does he get his blue seats and his booster membership. And he wanted me to call him back to let him know how do I do that. I mean, here's a guy that we've named the stadium after. He doesn't need permission for any of that. He can come in anytime he wants and sit anywhere he wants, anytime. But that's Fred Shaver.
Dive into the recruiting process around this team. You've got a lot of guys that have gone from Southeast Bulloch to play at the next level. There have been a lot of people involved in that on your staff over the years. 4 guys from last year's team now playing college football since you guys have gotten here. This will be the 5th season with you guys. 11 SEB Yellow Jackets have gone on to play at the next level. What does that process look like getting these guys from Brooklyn to that next level?
Well, number one is I think more guys deserve that opportunity than probably ones that have been given that chance. And it's the nature of college recruiting right now. It's where we're at with the transfer portal, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, my feeling has always been this: if they start for us, they've got good grades, they've got good character, they love the game of football. There's a place somewhere for them to play.
Yep.
Now, the reality is what we've seen, and all high school coaches are talking about it, is guys are kind of dropping at least one level in terms of where they should go talent-wise to where there's an available slot. The P4s and the G5s, everything's trickling down. But again, I think we've got several guys on this team, whether they're seniors, juniors, sophomores, or even freshmen, that will have that opportunity. Some will have bigger opportunities than others. But I think if you have a passion to play, you have good grades, good character, and you're a good player, there's opportunities out there. Now you got to decide how far away do I want to go. That opportunity may be in Nebraska. What division do I want to play in? If I'm stuck, I'm a D1 guy, but I only have D2 offers. Those are some decisions you're going to have to make about continuing to play. But proud of the guys that we're able to help that opportunity out with, and guys like Coach Hammond, who helps me now as recruiting coordinator. It's really become kind of a part-time job in addition to the full-time job as a head coach. But I'm excited to see what happens with this next class.
You talk about your staff, and a lot of those guys were named to the Parker Resources Assistant Coaches of the Year at the end of last season. Randy Lee with special teams, Anthony Hammond on the defensive coordinator side, and there's a lot of the guys on this staff that get overlooked in that category. You added a new member of the staff and Jayden Spivey coming over as the wide receivers coach. Talk about this staff as a whole, and I think it's one of the more special and unique kind of nucleuses in it.
Well, we got a really good combination, a really cool combination of one. Number one, we got a bunch of men that care about kids and want the best for them, want to teach them and make them do right, both in the classroom and the community. They're very good football coaches, good technicians, good schemers, and then we all get along. And I'm not saying we always agree on everything, but we generally have a good time together. We laugh a lot. And there's good camaraderie and stability, and there's a good chemistry there. And I think our kids kind of can see that. They can feel that we're all kind of on the same page. And I've told aspiring head coaches my entire career, the hardest job as a high school football coach is hiring staff, because you got to hire the guys that fit the teaching slot. They got to fit the slot you need on the field. Then you got to get guys that believe in what you do schematically, and you feel the same way about kids and helping kids. And then you got to put all those guys in a room and say, hey, no one has an ego. We're in the kid business. Let's do what's best for them. And we're very fortunate. We have a group like that here. But there are a lot of places not so much the case.
Again, catching up with head coach Jared Zito from Southeast Bulloch Football as we get set for the 2025 season. It opens up in 2 weeks on the road against the Statesboro Blue Devils on the 15th of August. Next week, you've got the scrimmage against Burt at Fred Shaver Field over in Brooklet. Before we really get into the nuts and bolts of it, one of the unique parts of the team this year is at quarterback. Got a battle going on to figure out who is going to be taking that first snap against Statesboro in 2 weeks. You've got two guys, and it's a very unique situation here at SEB because it's not very often, especially in the high school ranks, that you have two guys that legitimately could do the job and you have a true battle for it. What has that been like throughout this offseason between Aaden Peterson and Colton Zito?
Both those kids, number one, outstanding young men, committed to the game of football, committed to being competitive, willing to do whatever the team needs to win. I think number one, that's the thing I love about both of them is they're competitors. What do we need to do to win? That's number one. Let's start with Aaden Peterson. Aaden started for us at corner last year, was our backup quarterback all year, so took all those snaps in practice, and athletically was really progressing and ready to go. But ideally, when we're talking to Aaden even last year, that's really not what he wanted to be. He'd rather be a wide receiver and a defensive back. And then Colton really always wanted to be a wide receiver. He's my son. I can tell you, we didn't even talk about throwing a pass until about last year. It was either him play quarterback or we don't have a JV team. So, and he kind of fought me on it, and Aaden kind of fought me on it because so it was kind of an interesting situation when that spot came available. I went to both of them and said, hey, it's one of you two guys. And they both said, we'll do whatever it takes to win. And they're good friends. They play basketball together. It's been a really friendly competition. They both try really hard to beat the other guy for the day. They both have tremendous strengths that they bring to the table. Aaden Peterson, number one, he's very elusive. He's with Aaden with the ball in his hands is special, whether that's going to be quarterback at wide receiver in a return game, or he has a turnover on defense. He's bigger, faster, and stronger than he was last year through his hard work. So he's got the potential to make a big play. He also throws a very, very good deep ball. Colton on the other side, Colton is done, he's a coach's kid. And so he's been around his whole life. And Coach Peterson says he's got my sickness, and so I don't know if that's good or bad, but he's a student of the game. He manages the game. He runs the offense really well. He throws the ball very accurate underneath. So both guys do some things that can help us win. And there could be a scenario out there if things continue along the way, and they're both even Steven. There could be a scenario where both of them have an opportunity to line up behind center. But I think both guys also, if they're not a quarterback, may also find themselves at wide receiver. So I think it's a win-win situation. We're going to let it play out through the scrimmage and kind of evaluate it through there. Which guy do we think gives us the best chance against Statesboro at that time? But never excluding the other guy. The other guy is always an option depending on what the situation is.
2 weeks away from Boot Meets Ball for Southeast Bulloch against the Statesboro Blue Devils at Womack Field just across town. It'll get going on 15th of August at 7:30 kickoff. We'll continue with more from Wild Wing Cafe. We catch up with a couple of Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets, some coaches, and wrap it up with Coach Zito on the other side of the break. Back with more after this right here on 106.5 The Borough. Back here inside Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro as we get set for the 2025 Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jacket football season here on 106.5 The Borough. Catching up with a couple of Jackets, Colby Smith and Bear Fretwell, a couple of seniors. Bear on the offensive and defensive line. And, of course, Colby Smith has been doing pretty much everything at some point in your career here at SEB, but has settled into that running back and safety side. Guys, appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
Bear, let's start with you. You've had a eventful offseason, let's say, with the recruiting process now committed to go to the Alabama Crimson Tide whenever you finish up your career here at SEB. What has that process been like for you, and especially somebody that has the unique story that you do, coming from the homeschool side, coming into SEB, and have really built a huge career here at SEB?
Yeah, it's been a very crazy process because 4 months ago I had no contact with any coaches, so being able to come in, it really it's just like offers don't really mean anything to me. It just shows how much that I've worked. Being able to come into this season as an Alabama commit, working as a as a great teammate and just as a good player, it just feels great.
What was going through your mind as you're going through that official visit in Tuscaloosa with Kalen DeBoer and staff? What's going through your mind at that point?
Really, I just there was a time when I look back at where I was as a homeschool kid, 4'3" and fat, so being able to see myself in that situation it's really just life changing.
Colby, we've talked about the magical season that you put together, the first Jacket to go over 1,000 yards since 2017 when Chase Douglas did it. What is it like being able to be in the middle of that and knowing your family and how loud they are on game day? I know that helps.
Yes, sir. It means a lot that they're there to support me. And when my dad, he's working on chain gangs on the sideline, and I can hear my mom and my granddad in the stands calling at me, so it means a lot.
Talk about last season. What really clicked? And I know moving to the new position at running back helps a lot in the offensive line that you ran behind last year especially. What was it when you really said this could be something special?
From the get-go, when we played Statesboro, I really enjoyed playing running back, and I had a lot of confidence after that game. So moving forward, it was just all uphill from there.
Barry, you got to play alongside and against your brother the last couple of years when now he's playing college ball. You've got a younger brother coming in on the other side of it. What's it like being able to have that family be a part of this program so much?
It's really great. We have a whole family tree of everybody coming through Brooklyn, Georgia. A small town, and it's really great to be able to play with my older brother and then my younger brothers coming up to play with me. This really shows how connected Southeast Bulloch is as a whole family.
Colby, we talked about it with Coach Zito in the first segment that you have played in 30 games in your career. You started 28 of them between offensive and defensive side of the ball. You've played safety, you've played linebacker, you've seen a little bit of everything at backup quarterback, now running back. What's it been like over your 4 years here in Brooklyn to be able to have so much different experience of being able to have?
I think playing multiple positions on defense has helped a lot, so I can understand not just my job, but the other guys around me. And then offense, being the backup quarterback, it's the same situation. I had to learn a lot of everybody on the field and what they had to do, so that's just made me the player I am today.
Bear, talk about the impact that Brandon Peterson has on this team. Offensive line coach has been here in Brooklyn for a long time. It's baseball as well, and a big part of the weight room and the strength and conditioning side of it. What does Pete bring to this team?
Yeah, really, this team, like, he's the best coach I've ever had.
But, yeah. So it's like the intensity that he comes with every day. It's like, he's coached about 20 different groups of people, like 20 different classes. And it's like every day he treats it like the first day he's there. It's like there's never a dull moment. It's always just like, he's very easy to get along with. And you always want to play your hardest with somebody like that.
Colby, we've talked about your family, and you have a ton of support at every game. Who's made the biggest impact on your athletic career?
My athletic career, I would have to say my mom. If I didn't say her, she might would get into me a little bit. But yeah, she's always there to support me in everything I do, from little league to now.
Going into 2025, you're 2 weeks away from boot meat ball against Statesboro on the road this year after the win against Statesboro last year at Fred Shaver Field. What are you most excited about going into this season?
I'm excited for playing Statesboro just game by game. So we're not going to look too far ahead. Just take it week by week and see what we can do.
Fair.
Really, as a whole team, ever since the loss to Stevenson, we've really come together. It's been like the season started the day after we lost. So it's like we've been grinding in the weight room. You can really see it. I'm not really concerned about any opponent we go against because it's really just going to be us against us every Friday night. So I'm just really excited to go out there and show the fans and show the people that are watching the work that we put in, because the score, the score doesn't matter. It's about, how we play as a team.
It's a lot of fun to watch both of you guys on Friday night. Appreciate your time and have a great season.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Once again, Colby Smith, Bear Fretwell, part of the 2025 Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets that get it going in a couple of weeks against the Statesboro Blue Devils. We'll continue with more from Wild Wing Cafe here in Statesboro on 106.5 The Borough. Back here inside Wild Wing Cafe as we get set for the 2025 Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jacket football season here on 106.5 The Borough. Hanging out with a couple of Jackets as we get going and continue the preseason radio show as Cameron Miller and Chase Douglas, joining us up here on stage. What's up, guys? All right, we heard in the first segment that you guys just came back from a bowling outing.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
Did you bowl good?
Man, I did great.
Man, what?
I did amazing.
I did pretty good, I think.
All right. Dive into what 2025 can be for this team. We saw what it was last year with the 10-3 season. What excites you most about going into this next season?
Yeah, our guys are just ready to work, and we're more hungry than last year. And I think this year, after that Stevenson loss, we really come together. I can really feel the difference. Our leadership is getting better every single day, and it's really come together. I really like this group. I love it.
Oh, yeah, pick up off that. Yeah, it was just family, really, coming together with the brothers out there on the field. I mean, we're just ready to work, ready to eat it up. But, yes, sir.
We talked about it with Coach Zito. You started as a freshman on the defensive side. You have played and virtually not come off the field since. What's it been like having so many snaps, so many games under your belt now that you're a senior?
Just the experience part, really. I mean, it helps me out a lot. I mean, Coach Ant really stuck me in there. Thank you for him. But, yeah.
Cam, you've got a special connection. We've talked a lot about different families throughout SEB. Your dad is a big part of Southeast Bulloch as the athletic trainer on the sideline.
Yeah.
What's it like having him on the sideline each and every Friday night?
It's amazing. He's my number one supporter, and he gives me motivation to go out there and play my best every single day.
Chase, you had 2 pick sixes last year. What's going through your mind whenever you pick a ball off and you see nothing but green grass?
Well, hopefully I don't step out again. But, just free range, I guess.
You have so many opportunities throughout your career. What's been the biggest thing that you've learned from when you first stepped on the football field as a freshman up until now starting your senior year?
Just give it your all. I mean, you never know when it's your last, when you'll get injured or anything.
Cam, it seems like this group, and especially on that offensive line, defensive line, is such a tight-knit group around this team. Where does that come from, and how tight is it being a part of it?
Yeah, man, it's a really tight process. I really love those guys, and we just all come like I said, before, we really come together. We really get down and dirty with each other. So it's really nice to play with those guys.
Going into the season, what do you look forward to most as you start the final season here at SEB?
Just being with family, really. Just going out there again one last time.
Okay.
Yeah. that last night with my boys, like I think we're gonna take it all the way, but you never know what's gonna happen. It's football, so you gotta appreciate those little moments like that.
By the way, we talked about the recruitment process for Bear. You picked up your first offer a couple of weeks ago from
Yeah.
Swanee University of South. What's that recruitment process like for you and being able to opportunity to play at the next level?
Yeah, it's amazing because like being like a shorter guy, like I'm only 5'10", so like getting Coach Hearn like give me like blessing me with that offer, like it really changed my life. Like I tell him that all the time when I talk to him on the phone. Like he really like giving me a chance to play at the next level. Like I prayed and dreamed about it with my mom, my family, and all of them. So it's really a blessing. It really means a lot.
Guys, it's a lot of fun to see you on Friday night. Best of luck this year. Appreciate you taking some time with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Once again, Chase Douglas, Cam Miller, part of the offensive line, defensive line for SCB. We continue with more here from Wild Wing Cafe in just a moment right here on 106.5 The Borough. Back here from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro, talking Southeast Bulloch Football 2025 edition. Catching up with defensive coordinator and Jason Anthony. And appreciate you joining us.
Most definitely. Glad to have Colin. How you doing, boss?
I'm good. Getting ready for 2025. It starts in 2 weeks. You've got the scrimmage next week against Burke. Now that it's almost close to that holiday of being able to kick off the season, what's the excitement like these next couple of weeks?
Well, for myself, honestly, like it hasn't stopped after the Stevenson game from last year. I kind of got locked in on huddle, depth chart, stuff like that. So the excitement to get to the scrimmage is there, but the excitement of like just being with the kids, practicing, it's always been there. It hasn't stopped yet.
You've said a lot in the defensive staff that you've got that pretty much everybody on your defensive staff could be or has been defensive coordinators at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you look at your staff, how important have they been in what SEB defense has been the last few years?
Well, the consistency, like Coach Zito said, like a lot of us, like we get along. Like there's no issues at all. There's no egos at all. Myself and the coaches, Coach Roddy, Coach Hammett, our Coach Carr. So like the experience those guys have from being in the program, my 5 years here, it carries over to the kids and the shows.
You've had to change schematically a little bit over the years, and the thing that's been most impressive about this defense is the flexibility you've had with what you've had.
Mm-hmm.
You've been able to change defense schematically to what best fit what you had on the field. What's been the biggest part of that for you?
Well, defense is simple to me. You get off block, then you run to the ball, and you can use that. You can run a 3-3-5, you can run a 4-2-5, you can run a 50. It doesn't matter. You get off block, you get to run into the ball, you make a tackle, and you can. It's that simple defensively, get aligned correctly, communicate amongst each other. But like scheme wise, like I can go out there tomorrow and throw something together. Now it may not stick, but I guarantee we're going to run to the ball. We're going to get off block. We're going to make tackles.
You've got so many guys that have seen so many snaps throughout their career. We've talked with Colby, Tyrone, McGee. We'll talk to a little bit later on. Chase Douglas, we've talked to. A lot of wealth of knowledge on the field for you. How important is that, and how much easier does it make your life when you've got guys like that?
To me, it's the value of having that experience is it goes to the sophomores who are playing or the freshmen who may smell the field a little bit this year. That senior leadership from the experience that a Chase Douglas has can carry over to a let's say Bailey, or it can carry over to a Brent Horse has it like what Kyle O'Brien did with Brent Horse. So that experience that those guys have carries over to the sophomores and sophomores and the freshmen, and we just keep this thing rolling, So that I value all of those guys that you named, but I also value the leadership that they have with those underclassmen.
We've seen a lot of guys bounce between different positions, whether it be safety, linebacker, star, the jacket that you've got in this defense.
What you know about the star? How you know about that position?
Because that man over there sent it to me.
Calm down now. All right, here we go.
I'm just saying. You've had a lot of people bounce between different positions. What's that process like of trying to identify who is going to fit best at what position?
Well, bouncing those guys around, it kind of like it's a book by Bobby Knight called The Power of Negative Thinking. You never know what can happen in the season. No, this guy may go out. Okay, well, we got this guy prepared to jump in that spot. This guy may be tired from playing offense. Well, now we got to go right there. So just thinking ahead and putting those guys in those spots right now to get those reps. Of course, it's not game reps, but at least they have an idea of what to do when we put them in those positions. Let's
go line by line of what this defense can look like this year. Talk about the defensive line, the strengths of that, and the guys that you can really expect to step up big.
I don't want to get too much away. I just talk about all 11 of those guys at one time. Well, all 11 of those guys, whoever they may be, next Friday, they're going to run to the ball. They're going to get off blocks, and they're going to make – I'm just joking with you. But like I say, Cam Miller, he's back. He's a leader. We also have like Riley Marshall, who's been getting a couple reps. Gerald Palmer's been getting reps. Dalton Bulloch, who's always getting reps as well at D-line. Our position, we got say Bailey, he plays inside and outside. Tyler Chaney, he plays outside. We got Frankie. Frankie's been in the program for a while too. He's an outside guy. Inside wise, my job's easy. I mean, those guys been in the program for a while. You know, Brand Horse. We got Jayden Murphy. We got Chase Douglas, of course. TDs, secondary wise, safeties. Tyrone McGee comes back. Stevie Patchen comes back. Colby comes back as well. Cornerback, we have Aaden. Jalen Wells, who's been had a pretty solid summer as well. Now, we're trying to find another guy. I have an idea of who that guy may be. I'm going to keep that to myself right now, so giving the thing away. But collectively, because Zito jokes with me all the time, we'll find our guys around game 3. Now, I don't want to be 0-3 at game 3. That's when you find your defense to me. You know, around game 3, you can find those guys right there.
I have said for the time I've known you, one of the more underrated defensive coordinators in this state, in this game. How much fun is it for you to be able to run a defense like this and be around this team that you are?
It's extremely fun. Like I say, I value Coach Zito, where he lets me run the defense, but he also gives input. Like I'm never too big to not hear what the head coach has to say. Like I never will be. So usually on say, Saturday afternoon, he'll shoot me a text. Sunday he'll shoot me a text. Monday we'll meet in the morning. But I value that though. You know, I can't just say that this is just all on me as a defensive coordinator. The head coach does a great job. Also the ideas that the position coach gives me as well too. So, you know, underrated DC, it is what it is with them. Like, I don't really care about the accolades and stuff like that. All I care about is like pleasing my boss, pleasing my family, doing what's right for these kids.
And it's a lot of fun to watch what your defense does. I appreciate getting to know you over the years and appreciate what you do.
Thank you so much. Take care, Colin.
Jason Anthony, defensive coordinator for Southeast Bulloch. We'll continue with more here from Wild Wing Cafe in just a moment right here on 106.5 The Borough. Back in Statesboro from Wild Wing Cafes, we're talking Southeast Bulloch football here on 106.5 The Borough. Glad to be a part of your Friday night, wherever you may be listening from, and catching up with a couple of more Jackets here from Wild Wing is Jayden Murphy and Tyrone McGee. Guys, appreciate you joining us. Tyrone, we've talked a little bit about you already and that you've seen so many games, so many reps on that defensive side of the ball especially. How much fun has it been these last 3 years to be able to build up to your senior year?
It's extremely fun. I love playing these guys, and yeah.
Jayden, you came on to the scene, especially a big part last year in the running back side of things. How much fun was it to be able to run behind that offensive line and do what you were able to do in the backfield?
It's great. My boys, though. Couldn't do it without my boys. Everything I did was my boys. We worked hard to get to where we was.
You have grown so much, not just on the field, but in the weight room has become a big part of what you do and being able to build your body how it has. What has that been like in the weight room with Brandon Peterson, with Coach Zito, and being able to build it over the last couple of years?
It's been hard. They be on us. Can't pick up the phone, nothing. They be on us.
Tyrone, how excited are you for what this season can be for SEB?
I think we can make it all the way. Especially we got so much talent across the board and all that.
All right, you were part of the Georgia Elite Classic in the offseason, an all-star game here in the state of Georgia that's been big time for a long time. You were top 10 in game speed, 18.7 miles an hour in the game. As somebody that their high school baseball coach told them that it looked like second base was running away from me, how much fun is it to be that fast?
It's fine. It's going to be fun.
What's going through your mind when you see open field, whether it be on the offensive or defensive side of the ball? What's going through your mind when you're going to make a tackle, whether you got the ball in your hand?
Just get there.
Jayden, talk about this team, a tight-knit group. We've talked about it a lot tonight. But talk about what the kind of mindset of this team being together, and we have seen so many guys grow into a big part of what this team can be.
The team could be a lot. We all play together as a team. Like we might have our disagreements, but we all gonna get there. We gonna have our disagreement that we're gonna move on from, but that's how we are a great team and how we get far. And that's how we're gonna get far into the playoffs and we're gonna win the whole thing.
How was the bowling?
That's good.
Did you bowl well?
Yes, sir.
Jayden? Did you bowl well?
Yeah.
Guys, appreciate you joining us. It's a lot of fun to watch you on Friday night. Jayden Murphy, Tyrone McGee here from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Plenty more as we continue on the preseason radio show for Southeast Bulloch football right here on 106.5 The Borough. Back in Statesboro here on 106.5 The Borough, talking Southeast Bulloch football with special teams coordinator Randy Lee. Some would say, some would sing, I believe in Randy Lee, but we will leave that where it is.
Just a lot of words in one line. Isn't it? Yes. Thank you for having me.
We've talked so much over the years about the impact that special teams has on this SEB program, the emphasis that you and Coach Zito have put on it from day one. We've said so many times that that's not everywhere. That's not in every high school football program. You get to see that throughout the season. What is it like being able to put so much emphasis on something you love so much?
Well, it gives us an opportunity that we feel like gives us an advantage in every ball game. You know, when you can do that and you win 1/3 of the game, and that's the way we look at it, how Coach Zito looks at it, it gives us an advantage over teams that don't spend a lot of time on it. I really want to make, really point out our coaching staff and how hard they work. It's not just me and it's not just Coach Zito. Every single coach on this staff is coaching a position within each special teams. They've got either 1, 2, or 3 guys that they're responsible for, and they're coaching just as hard on that special team as they do in their position and their position groups. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And I also think it makes a huge impact on what we do on Friday nights.
Where did your love for the special teams aspect of this game come from?
Well, I was a kicker, believe it or not. So that's what I did. And
going the Terry Harvin route.
Well, yeah, he's a little younger than me. I was here when Tim Foley was here, so ended up I got to watch a guy that kicked in the NFL, and Doc Spurgeon was the Doc, and was the kicking coach here, and I got an opportunity to be a little part of that, and it was important that Coach Russell put a huge impact. He felt like special teams were a huge part of his game plan, and if you're going to follow a guy, Coach Russell's not a bad person to follow.
Not in the slightest.
So yeah, it's that's kind of where my love comes where it comes from. I'm kind of a riverboat gambler. I love having the opportunity to create offensive possessions from a defensive possession standpoint. Coach Zito is more of the shrimp boat gambler. He wants to throw the net, throw the bait, and make sure he's got him, and then we'll go to it. And then sometimes somebody like Colby Smith just does what I'm thinking and gets us a first down in Long County and ends up working out to be a great thing for us to take the victory there. So sometimes, even though he got a little chastised, we patted ourselves on the back for that.
We're going to go through pretty much every aspect of what this team is going to be. Being the special teams coordinator, let's dive through the area that you're involved with. The part of the game that doesn't necessarily get talked about a whole lot in the special teams is long snapper. You guys have had a pretty good one for the last couple of years in Talent Stoke.
So we talked about it last year, right?
First, I want to tell you that story. I want you to tell that story.
So as Talon came to me, his aspect was, I want to find a place to play. And a lot of times we find a lot of guys in special teams that aren't starters, but are looking to get on the field because they're competitive. And it's just there's guys ahead of them that are older. And I knew that was a situation to where if he wanted to play and benefit our program, a long snapper is always somebody that you have a hard time finding. It's such a hard job that we have a snapper day, and every person and player in our program snaps for 1 5-minute period or 10-minute period so we can start the process of elimination to find somebody. I feel very lucky. He's absolutely the best snapper I've ever coached or been around. I don't even coach him. He does it himself. He's worked so hard. You can tell in the weight room he's gotten stronger. He is dedicated to his craft. It has shown from an aspect of where he's rated as far as his opportunity to go to college, which he's going to get that. The way things have worked in college sports here lately with recruiting and NIL and transfer and no walk-ons, it's going to be a process for him. But everything that he's done, he's put the work in. And I know he had some great summer camps, and I think you got some of those stats from that. And he went to Mississippi State and was the #1 snapper for punt and in the field goal. And I talked to the Georgia Southern guys the other day, and they've seen all this stuff. The problem is they're sitting right here in the backyard, and they don't have a spot for him. It makes it hard, right? You can only get so many roster spots. So I'm hoping some things work out, but we are very blessed to have him. So it makes our field goal team better, our punt team better. He leads by example, works hard every day, and it makes my job a lot easier. I don't get screamed at near as much.
Dive into the kicking side of it. You've got Owen Turner, Thomas Edge, who have split that role the last year or so. What does that look like going into 2025? And I know both of those guys have really taken a step up.
So yeah, both of them have. I think it's going to be a battle every week. I guess I'm really pleased with Thomas. His effort in the weight room this offseason, his legs gotten stronger. Just his confidence in what he's doing. He is someone that has really spent the time to get better. And the weight room made a huge difference for him, and I think it helped both in strength and in, like I say, confidence in where he's at. Just as a person, it's going to be a battle every week. I don't know every week. I think we may compete. So there were 2 times last year on Friday night going into the pregame. I didn't even know who was going to have kickoff. It kind of went all the way up to pregame. So that's a good problem to have as well. When you have 2 really good kickers, it's made my job pretty easy. And if we can just keep Brant Horst to keep his eye on the football, we may have an all-state punter as well, because he kicks at about 700 yards, but sometimes it goes 700 yards to the right, or if he keeps his head down, it's 700 yards down the middle of the field. So, yeah, I think we're pretty good. We're going to be pretty good special teams-wise. Like I said, I think we're ahead of the game so far right now as far as our preparation with the coaches and what they've been doing and working with these guys the last couple of weeks. I think we're set and ready to go as far as what our scheme is. Now it just becomes, like always with special teams, it's about effort and attitude. There's some guys that are not going to be starting as far as an offense or defensive position, but will make a huge impact for us in that area because of effort and attitude.
You talked about Brant Horst. He took over the punting duties last year, going to be doing similar this year. What is that process like whenever you get somebody that's a tight end, a linebacker, and a really good one on both of those sides of things, and then you're looking for a punter, he's the guy that lands on? What's that process like on not necessarily teaching him how to punt because he knows how to do it and all that, but what's that process like of making him into the punter that he became?
Well, Coach Zito became a punting guru over the summer. I think I got a text about every other day on punting technique, and I'm not sure if Brant got those or not, but he spent some time at looking at some coaching clinics and some film and YouTube, and so I think what we decided is the best coaching thing for Brant is watch the ball hit your foot. But yeah, it's tough from his standpoint. He's playing both sides of the football, and he never gets a break, and we're counting on him. But I've got Owen's brother Parker is probably going to be our backup punter right now. It's kind of where we stand. And last year, when he was spending a lot of time with it, proved to be someone we could count on if something were to happen, and that's what's going to go on this year.
Last year, you took over as running backs coach as well for SEB. We talked about the magical season that Colby had, Jayden Murphy making impacts, Stevie Paget, Chase Douglas, Quentin Reed last year. You have 4 of those 5 guys we just mentioned back in the stable this year. What's it like having that many guys? And, oh, by the way, you throw in a couple of other guys that can really touch football.
Easiest coaching job in the state. How's that sound? You got a stable like that, it's fun. They're complementary of each other. They practice hard. They work together well. There's no selfishness in it. They all want to see each other do well. They're happy when someone succeeds. We added DJ Brooks to the mix this year. That basically is going to replace Quentin, and I look for us to have a great year. When your offense is based around running the football and trick plays, those are passing plays, by the way, our trick plays. When that's how it's set up, you better have a good group of backs, and we've got ones that can run in and out of there all day long.
2024 Special Teams Coordinator of the Year on the assistant coach side by the Parker Resources. Appreciate you joining us, Randy.
All right, thank you very much.
Hey, by the way, we forgot your shout out. That has become a
She
tradition.
is still my smoking hot wife, even though she's not here. So she can't hear us tonight because she's on an airplane, but I wish she could be. All right, thank you very much.
Back to Wild Wing Cafe after this right here on 106.5 The Borough. Back in Statesboro from Wild Wing Cafe as we talk 2025 Southeast Bulloch football right here on 106.5 The Borough. We'll have coverage all season long with myself, Brent Osborne, Mark Bowen with the play-by-play story starting on the 15th of August when Southeast Bulloch opens up at Statesboro at 7:30 at Womack Field. We're on the air at 7 o'clock on 106.5 The Borough. And we talk now to a couple of quarterbacks for Southeast Bulloch football. It's Aaden Peterson and Colton Zito joining us. Appreciate you joining us, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Colton, we'll start with you. Coming into this season, obviously, Coach Zito's son, you have seen this offense from the time you were probably born. What's it like now being able to have the opportunity to possibly run this offense?
It's really fun, especially when you're doing it with a lot of guys that are just fun to be around. And for me, I love playing in this offense. It's not most quarterbacks wouldn't say that, but to me, it's really fun. I like running the ball, and it's fun.
Aaden, we have obviously seen the athletic ability that you've got, and obviously it's genetic. You've seen it for a long time. How much fun is it for you being able to go out each Friday night and be as dominant as you are?
It's really fun. Playing quarterback, it helps me really understand the game of football. And, also playing both sides as a cornerback, it helps me really understand the game.
We talked about it earlier on tonight, that the battle between you two, being able to figure out who is taking that first snap, more than likely going to see both of you on the field at most parts of the game. Whenever you look at this battle, competition, whatever you want to call it, this is kind of the perfect dynamic for you. You guys have been friends for a while, playing basketball together. What is it like, the dynamic between you two of being able to figure out who's taking that first snap?
I would say the best thing is that the whole time it's never really felt like a competition. Like, we're always trying to help each other. We're both really highly competitive, so we just want to, whatever's best for the team, that's what we want to play. It's never really a competition like that.
Hey,
Yeah, like Colton said, it's not really much of a competition. It's more like a friendly battle. You know what I mean? So, like, when we're both out there on the field, when I'm at quarterback, he's probably going to be at receiver. And when Colton's at quarterback, I'll be at receiver.
both of you guys grew up in a football family. Adrian, your dad, Adrian, with the Chicago Bears and his career here at Georgia Southern as well. So you've known football your entire life. Outside of your dad, though, who has made the biggest impact on your athletic career?
I would say probably my uncle or my mom. Yeah. My mom was really supportive, always at my games. And if she's not able to make it to the game, she's always listening. And yeah, she's always been there for me.
Your dad, obviously now on staff with Clay Helton at Georgia Southern, has been a huge part of your development and growth in the game of football. What's it like being able to have him in your corner to be able to, if nothing else, just bounce ideas off him?
It helps out a lot. My dad's taught me almost everything I know. So, learning from him helps me a lot.
Colton, same to you. Your dad has been coaching for a long time. You've seen it. You've grown up in it. Everybody talks about, a lot of times on Saturdays you hear, oh, this is a coach's kid, which means they know the game of football. What's it like being able to grow up in a football household and be able to know this offense so well?
It's really good. I mean, I get to know a lot more than other people. He tells me a lot more. It's more information I can take in. It helps me a lot.
Outside of your dad, who has made the biggest impact in your athletic career?
I got to shout out my mom. She'll be mad if I don't say that. And then also my grandpa. He always keeps me going. He makes sure I'm staying motivated.
Looking ahead into the season, it starts a couple of weeks from now. You've got the scrimmage coming up next week against Burke. What are you two looking forward to most going into the season?
I'm looking forward to running the ball. With our offense, it's a lot easier with two the best running backs. Colby Smith and Jayden Murphy. They make it a lot easier. It's not just them, DJ Brooks and Chase Douglas and Stevie Paget.
That's what I would say too. I mean, it's your job's a lot easier when the guys around you are really good players. We got a lot of guys at receiver that can make plays. Him, Tyrone, really good offensive line. We're gonna do some good things this year.
Guys, appreciate you stopping by. Looking forward to what 2025 can be for this team. Best of luck this year and appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Once again, Colton, Zito, Aaden, Peterson. We'll finish up the 2025 season preview show here from Wild Wing Cafe in just a moment. We'll catch up with head coach Jared Zito on the other side of the break on 106.5 The Borough. Finish up tonight from Wild Wing Cafe as we preview the 2025 Southeast Bulloch football season here on 106.5 The Borough. Colin, Lacy alongside head coach Jared Zito to wrap things up. Not only is it impressive what this team has been on the field, but being around this team, getting to know a lot of people associated with this team, it's a lot of fun to be around this program and what you guys have built here in Brooklet. Are you able to take a step back and see the impact that these guys have on the community?
Absolutely. Number one, they're really a product of their families. And everybody says that. You look at a kid and how they act and how they behave, and they're selfless and they care about other people. I think that's part of the SCB community, and that's not just coach speak or whatever. I think it's just we got a lot of families that have old traditions and old school values, and treat people right, be respectful, work hard, and that carries over to their kids. And then our jobs as coaches is to kind of cultivate all that and put it together and then transform it into things we can do as a football program. And whether that's only on our field, but also how we can impact other people. But it makes it easy when they have already been taught those things as a young child through their family. And now we're just kind of putting it all together and moving in one direction.
We talked to Coach Anthony, defensive coordinator for SCB, special teams coordinator, and Randy Lee. Those two are two of the more underrated folks in this country or in this state of what they do. Coach Ann on the defensive side has been with you all 5 years here at SCB. Talk about the impact that he has on this program.
Listen, Coach Ant is. I've had some really talented defense coordinators that I've worked with. If he's not the best, he's right there with them. And what I love about Coach Ant the most is he's always growing and progressing. He's never stagnant, and he's very, very flexible in terms of, like he talked about it. I mean, at the end of the day, he's the defense coordinator. On Friday night, he gets very little from me in terms of what to do next. That's his job, and I trust him to do that. He'll get things from me through the week, and I try to give him what the offensive perspective looks like and how they may attack him, and he respects that and he appreciates that. So we kind of work together that way. But at the end of the day, it's his show, and he knows that, and I think our staff knows that and understand that I'm only going to support him in his vision, and we'll have those conversations. But very, very smart. He sees the game on Friday night, I think, better than any defensive coach I've ever seen from the field. He'll see things, and he has a natural feel and a natural instinct and intuition about things, and makes some calls that I won't even see coming. And that's through his experience and his knowledge and his work. I mean, I'm a football junkie. I think he may be more so. He spends so much time on huddle and is always looking for a better way for our kids. And he does the unbelievable job of making a scheme seem so complicated to the opponent, yet it's so simple to our kids. And he teaches it that way. I think that's one of the things people don't see because they're not there at practice. All they see is on Friday night. So we're very lucky to have him, and he's done a wonderful job.
Talk about Coach Lee, and the dynamic that you two have is hilarious to watch. But the importance of special teams that you have placed on your programs throughout your coaching career, but especially here at SCB. Talk about that dynamic between you two and what you're able to do with Coach Lee.
We have a love-hate relationship, but we love to hate each other. Number one, it goes back to we were rivals. Coach Lee was at Locust Grove, and I was the head coach at Ola, and so we were rival coaches, and got to know each other a little bit through an all-star game that I got a chance to coach in with him, and and when I get the opportunity to be the head coach here, I had no idea he had went to school at Georgia Southern, and he had family close by, and he had some feelings on wanting to move this way, and so that's how it started. That's probably because we were rivals to begin with. That we're always kind of going back and forth. But number one, Coach Lee. What I really like about him, I really respect about him, is and he really cares about kids. He's got a soft heart. He got a soft heart for kids. He's always the guy coming to me to be a little nicer, be a little softer. He's that guy because he has a real soft heart for kids. Very knowledgeable in special teams. Has got a lot of passion for it, which is, we talk about the uniqueness of having an importance of special teams by him and by me, but finding guys like a Randy Lee that really care about it and are willing to put the time in and coach it, that's not easy either, especially at the high school level. So I'm very fortunate there. And he likes to keep everybody light on his toes. And so him and Jason Bolt. Coach Anthony's he's a secret stir of the pot guy, where Randy kind of does it on the front end. But we have that relationship. No one really gets their feelings hurt, maybe every now and again, but we're grown men and we'll bounce back from it. But we all mean well. We want what's best for the kids, number one. We want what's best for the program, number two. And these guys are knowledgeable coaches, and they know what they're doing. And so I respect that, and I trust them for that.
One other guy on this staff that I want to touch on real quick is Brandon Peterson. He's come up a couple of times throughout tonight when we've talked to linemen, and we've talked about the 11 guys that you have had go on to the next level to play college football since you've been here at SEB. 4 or 5 of those have been on that offensive line under Coach Pete. And the strength and conditioning program that he has along with you has been a lot of impressive guys that have come out of it. The impact that he has on this program.
Coach Pete is awesome in every way. He's, when I first got the job here, I remember talking to other assistants on the staff and kids, and all they could talk about was Coach Pete and what they thought about him and how much they respected him and his passion. And then when you get a chance to work with him now 5 years, he comes from a great pedigree in terms of he's got state championship rings in football and baseball at Parkview High School as a player. He's been here his whole career. He's seen the ups and he's seen the downs. He's learned 2 offenses with me in his short time here, 2 different offenses he had not run. He's a hard worker. He's a great teacher. You've heard it from some of our kids. They want to play hard for him. And listen, Bear said, no disrespect. I love the fact that they want to play hard for Coach Pete. It doesn't offend me at all. It means he's reaching his guys. And I always say, he knows this, I love offensive linemen. If I could go back and play another position, it'd been an offensive line. I'd be an offensive lineman. I never coached the offensive line specifically, but there's an old saying: where your offensive line goes, so goes the team. And to have a guy like Brandon in that place that brings his A game every single day, we're very, very lucky. Very fortunate. Does an outstanding job. He's really become kind of my number 2 guy offensively in terms of game adjustments, in-game adjustments. Has some great ideas. We have a very similar philosophy about keeping things simple. If they're not stopping, they keep running it. He gets a little mad with me sometimes when I start throwing the football. He knows when it's going to happen. He's got intuition. I can see his eyes roll on the sideline. I learned 2 things about him. If he's listening, he should be listening. He said he'd be the only guy in Brooklyn with a radio on tonight. He hates. I found this out about him. He hates. I knew this a couple years ago. He hates rain, and then he hates early morning practices. Now he's going to coach hard, and he's going to be in a bad mood until we start practice, unless Jared Zito stops at Dunkin' Donuts and brings him a donut. Which this week we had 2 early morning practices, and I did stop and bring Coach Peterson and our staff a donut, which made him smile, and he coached really hard that day. So. He's just a great guy. He's become a good friend of mine. He's a really good football coach. The kids love him, and I'm blessed to have him on our staff.
As we kind of run through this offense, let's start with that offensive line. There's a lot of guys that you have to replace from a year ago, but when you're anchored by somebody at left tackle like Bear Fretwell, again committed to Alabama, a lot of guys of familiar names, but it may have played defensive line, now switching over to focusing a lot on offensive line. but some familiar names in there with some new ones thrown in as well.
Yeah, I mean, you guys that, obviously Daniel Schumann, senior, returning starting center. I mean, just the anchor of our offensive line, super smart, really strong, reliable, going to get the job done. A blue collar kind of kid. His brother played here. His dad's on our chain gang. Uh, of course, Bear Fretwell, we've talked a lot about him and looking to see him play his best football this year. I think his best football is still in front of him. And I've told that to a lot of college coaches and all the recruiting gurus that call me after he commits. They ask me about him. And I say that he's got all the potential in the world. He's got the measurables. He's got the athleticism, the twitch, the length. He can run. Now I think his best football in terms of being a really physical guy at the point of attack and finishing people is what we're going to see. And we got a guy, another senior, Herman Marsh. I'm excited about Herman. Boy, he's come a long way. The thing I love about Herman is in the last year, I've seen a different kid in terms of how bad he wants it. And he's done a tremendous job. Jared Maddox, returning junior, started for us last year. Ton of potential. Spark plug. He's got all the tools. Very physical kid. And then we got a sophomore left guard who I really like. He loves football. He loves to work. He's got a nastiness to him. Really good skill set. And then we got some guys, behind all those guys. The Carson Kirklands, Cam Miller, Dalton Gladue, Noah Bachnight, Austin Glover. And we tell these guys right now, everybody gets the same amount of reps. Our ones and twos right now are getting the same reps because we don't know when one of those guys is going to have to step in. And so we want to continue to build that depth. But right now, we've had a really good offensive line here since I've been here, and it fits our mold. But we have a really outstanding offensive line coach, and I'm looking forward to see what these guys do this year.
We talked about running backs a little bit with Randy Lee. We talked about quarterbacks earlier on in the show, but looking at the running backs, you get Colby Smith, Jayden Murphy, Stevie Patchett, Chase Douglas. All of those guys saw considerable snaps a year ago, only getting better another year into their progression. And then you add guys like a DJ Brooks and an AJ Jackson that I know you're really excited about.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is going to be how do you get all those guys to football? And we got two guys potentially at quarterback that have good skill set that could run a little bit too. The one thing I look forward to is keeping guys fresh. I look at like University of Georgia, and their motto has been for years that they'll play 3 running backs in a game, and their sell is about the next level. We're going to take hits off your body so that you can play a long NFL career. Our motto, it may be this year, kind of like it was in the last year, is thinking about the hits like Colby Smith took, and he was a warrior about it. But if we can take some hits off of him through the season and maybe set us up for a postseason run because he's healthy, I think we're even better for it. Looking forward to see what DJ Brooks has in store. I think he's got a ton of potential and excited about that. Again, another kid that loves football, just learning our offense a little bit more. And then AJ Jackson, I think, has got a really bright future. We'll see how this year goes, if there's room in that stable, because all those guys right there, they all run it with a different style. It's a great changeup for the defense. And then several of those guys play defense. So it just gives us really this unbelievable ability to rotate guys in and keep them fresh on both sides.
Talk about that receivers tight end combination that you've got. A couple of new names coming into that mix. You've still got guys like Brant Horst in there at tight end, but talk us through what those two groups look like.
Well, the tight end group is probably the one group I was most concerned with in terms of losing Clay Williams and Trent Jones.
Yeah.
And then we had a little bit of Forrest Fretwell would come in, and of course Brant was our fourth guy. Those two guys last year were just outstanding tight ends in terms of what we do, and they were committed to it. And so coming back, of course, Brant Horst, he's done an outstanding job, but he's also a starting linebacker. And then guys like Bailey Hutchins, Greg Peden, Caden Gaskins, even Frankie Amalou, another guy. That whole committee is going to have to continue to grow for us because we like to use tight ends.
Yep.
The second favorite group Coach Pete has besides O-linemen is tight ends. He likes lots of bodies in a really small space. But when we talk short yardage, tight red zone, down there in the goal line area, those guys are really important to our production. And they all do different things well. Greg Peden has tremendous. His soft hands are unbelievable. It's like throwing into a pillow. You don't even hear it hit his hand. Bailey Hutchins, really physical kid. Caden Gaskins, very physical kid. So they all do some different things. We just need that group to get to the same level pretty quickly so we can use them all.
Talk about the receivers, and I know it may make Pete a little bit upset that we're talking about receivers and throwing the ball. But what about that group really excites you?
Well, I think, we had two good ones last year that did a good job of filling the role and caught the ball well, blocked their butts off, which I certainly appreciate. And I think this group will do that too. One thing I think this group's got the ability to do is stretch the field a little bit or make some plays underneath with the football, making a guy miss. Again, Tyrone McGee is certainly going to be a part of it. Whether it's Aaden out at receiver, Colton could be a part of that. Uh, Kalen Wells, Eli Reed, Jay Howard. So there's a number of guys there that I think gives us a little bit more athleticism. And we know we're going to face teams with either zero safeties or one safety and 8-9 in the box. We're going to have to be able to throw the ball down the field or take advantage of the perimeter in some way. And so if we're able to do that, man, I think we become a very dangerous offense if we put that with a running game. And now we got two quarterbacks that seem like they're going to run the football for us pretty well too. That becomes hard to stop defensively.
Every year that you've been here in Brooklyn, you've had a saying, you've had a motto that kind of encompasses the team. What is it this year? Where did it come from?
Building tradition. And, as I sat back in the off season, thought about always try to think about where are we headed, where have we been, and what is something that we need to kind of put our vision on and our focus on. And, I kind of thought back to 2021, my first season here, and we go 10-2, beat Long County in the first round, and then lose in the second round to Cedar Grove. And then the next year, right, wrong, or different, and for whatever reasons, all the reasons we came up with was really a down year. Was a tough year. And so what I didn't want us to do was be a one-hit wonder again. And so, but I didn't want to do just injustice to last season. And so, you look at the history of Southeast Bulloch football, there's certainly been some great seasons. In 72, 73, undefeated state champions. There were several other seasons through there that were 10-win seasons. There was some 6-4 seasons. So lots of, coaches and players have had, but when you look at, have they ever been able to string that along more than 1 year or even year after year? And so we want to build on last year, build off of last year, and also without naming what round or where we're going to go is can we be better than we were last year? Because you don't want to be stagnant. I talk to our team every day in practice. I tell them you're either getting better or you're getting worse. You never stay the same, and we got to feel the same way as a program. Our goal needs to be we need to be better than we were last year. We need to build off last year. Last year was a great season. We had a lot of guys contribute, a lot of seniors that graduated that we owe a lot of thanks to, and a lot of guys that were part of that that are still a part of that. And now we want to build off that. So we want to be known as a team that every year, this is who Southeast Bulloch football is. We're going to be a team that is going to be highly competitive and get in the playoffs and make a deep run.
Open the season in 2 weeks on the road at Statesboro. Last year, that was a crazy way to start the season. First time ever SEB had beaten Statesboro in the 5 previous meetings. You were pretty transparent this time last year on this show that need to make this series a rivalry. And I feel like with the win last year, I think it's back to being that rivalry.
Yeah, I'd like to think it is too. We'll see what happens in 2 weeks if we can still say that. Hopefully we can. But I think number one, our school needs a rivalry.
Yeah.
I think students and communities, and listen, football it's a game. I mean, it's entertainment. And so when you have a rivalry and people get excited about that rivalry, I think that's good for our school. I think it's good for our community. And not just football. It should carry over into all the other sports, the fall sports, volleyball, softball, cross country, into the winter and spring. I remember last year at Fred Shearer Field, that was a tremendous atmosphere. And our kids, they talked about it all season. Like, Coach, man, I wish every game was like that. It was just electric.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be even bigger this year. We're going over to Statesboro. They have a bigger stadium. Now that we won a game, it's going to be even more exciting. Of course, they're going to want to have their opportunity for paybacks, and rightfully so. And we got to be prepared. They'll be a good football team this year.
Going into 2025, last thing before we wrap it up. what excites you most about going into this season?
Probably the guys, and Bear said it, lost to Stevenson up there, and I think there was a lot of sting in that. And I think the sting was we didn't play our best football that night. And so I think guys felt like we left that one there. And I'm not sure how the ending would work out, but I think we didn't play like we were playing up to that point. And the first time Coach Anthony and I noticed in the weight room, fourth block weights in January, the first workout we had when we came back from winter break, from Christmas break, our kids were hungry. And I remember thinking to 2020 when we're coming off that first playoff win since 1973, and it didn't feel that way in 21. And it felt like our kids were satisfied and wasn't a big deal. Our kids are hungry. Our returning seniors, juniors, sophomores, even our ninth graders, they're very hungry, and that really excites me.
Appreciate your time, and I know, again, a lot of going on around this program right now. Appreciate you making some time to come here tonight and talk SEB football, and appreciate what you do with this program.
We appreciate you, Colin, for putting our kids on the map and giving them the credit, recognition they still greatly deserve. Wild Wings Cafe. I know a lot of our folks have probably gone home to get in bed for picture day tomorrow, but we had a great turnout tonight by our community, our parents, our players. It's just an exciting time. We're so thankful to have this opportunity.
Once again, head coach Jared Zito for Southeast Bulloch football. It kicks off in 2 weeks against the Statesboro Blue Devils. Scrimmage next week at Fretwell Field against Burke. And we will have it all for you right here on 106.5 The Borough. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight to Wild Wing Cafe. And this is Colin Lacy saying so long, everybody.